Hello, welcome to Your Stars Within. I'm Little Wave, and today we're going to talk about the third house. So resuming our house series here, the third house is traditionally ruled by Gemini as a sign and Mercury as the planet. What that means is that the third house represents our intellect, our communication, and it also is often related to our siblings, early childhood, short travel, and our neighbors. I'm going to give you some interpretations. There's of course many more interpretations, but we only have 15 minutes here on YouTube. So, if your sun is in the third house, then the sun is where you identify, right? It's the brightest in the sky. It's how you identify yourself. So you identify through your intellect. Probably as a child, you were very hyper. You probably like to talk, maybe even known as sort of a motor mouth as a kid, and maybe as an adult, and really identify with, what you talk about, what you think about, what you know. Those are really big parts of how you think of who you are. When the moon is in the third house, remember that the moon is intuitive, it's reflecting, right? It reflects the light. So you might be very good at reflecting back to others what they said. You might be very good at imitating others' voices, accents, things like that. You might be very good at kind of going into the world or culture or norms of others and taking it on and reflecting it back. It also brings, the moon brings an intuitive and artistic and phasial aspect to everything that it touches. So you might find, especially if it makes any aspects to Neptune, maybe to Venus, that you have a bit of an artist in you, and that artistic ideas might just appear in your mind. When Mercury's there, it's in its home, so it's very comfortable. Probably as a child, you were encouraged to speak up, to talk, to share your point of view. Expressing yourself comes very easily, naturally. When others are afraid to or shy about expressing themselves, that's probably confusing to you. A person with Mercury in the third house is often very social and likes all the newest technology. When we put Venus in the third house, right? Venus is always harmonious, relational, and also artistic or beautifying. So this person, they might have a beautiful voice. If it's connected with something like Neptune, they might sing beautifully, tend to be creative with their words. They may know how to win others over or how to write things or express things in ways that others can really hear. Maybe to create win-win or understanding between people, maybe an excellent mediator, generally very good at using words to create harmony. Mars, right? Mars is god of war, right? We're learning this, we're getting the hang of it. So Mars is going to be more aggressive, maybe debating, right? Because it's communication, maybe like provocative or sarcastic kind of humor or creativity that is, kind of pushing the bounds, maybe likes to argue, right? A debate team could be a good idea. Writing strong opinion papers, maybe very competitive with siblings, right? Also maybe very impulsive, maybe very, very impulsive with what they say and a little harsh with what they say. So, I didn't realize I was going to offend all these people and now I have this to deal with. It just sort of popped out. Jupiter, Jupiter expands. Jupiter is like a great generous uncle coming into town, right? Bringing you lots of gifts. So very prolific writer. I could see this person maybe enjoying being on a radio show where they get to talk a lot. There probably is a love for talking. Lots of happy moments day to day, happy moments with their siblings. Maybe they take short trips, but generally speaking, really just kind of enjoying their day-to-day lives. They're also known for sometimes being a little bit lazy with their careers. So while they might be a prolific writer or have a, great voice for radio, they may not follow that beyond a hobby and push forward in a career. Saturn, when we talk about Saturn, we talk about restriction or we talk about delay. So when Saturn is in the third house, this might be a person who was slow to start to speak, There could even be more significant delays in speech. They may feel very responsible for their siblings. They may feel that they had to be restricted in speaking their mind in their early childhood, or they may somehow feel like they can't put into words what it is that they feel. There might be a lot of struggle between the emotional mind and the communication. When Uranus is in the third house, this person might have a very unusual way of thinking. They may not have liked traditional schooling, though they probably have these aha genius moments, where ideas just pop into their mind, probably very original ideas, unconventional ideas. This could be some odd or unusual speech disorders. I think of things like dyslexia maybe here. But, you still have that aha from the fine line between the crazy and the genius, right? It's right where Uranus tends to be. So the things that you say might be just on that line. Today they might say, oh, they're crazy. And, 20 or 50 years from now, it might be, oh, wow, this person was a genius, right? When we get into Neptune in the third house, Neptune kind of makes things foggy or nebulous. So there could be questions about who my siblings are. Maybe I have, 3 siblings from my parents' earlier marriage, but they live somewhere far away. I don't really know them. Or maybe I've got some step siblings, some half siblings, kind of this scattered. It's not the best placement there in the third house. It can make the mind sort of scattered, difficult with details, not great with concentration or communicating clearly. But on the other hand, it might give somebody a great ability to speak the spiritual world, maybe some abilities if there's some connection with the 12th house or Pisces, that there might be some mediumship, some ability to write about or speak about spirituality, music, areas more related to Neptune. This is probably not our person who's going to be an accountant, right? And then Pluto, Pluto often does also show our childhood traumas. It's a generational influence, but the house it's in is very particularly yours. So, if Pluto's in the third house, I'm going to say this person might have felt very unheard growing up. This might be a big area of transformation throughout their lives, is learning to communicate, learning to speak their thoughts, learning that others do want to hear them and that they can be received. That might be the area of great healing for them. They may feel like their intelligence was not seen. Maybe the way that they were intelligent was just not a way that their family tended to appreciate. Maybe they had a family who were great at math and they were more of an artist, that kind of thing. So while that may all have been there early in the childhood, a person with Pluto in the third house really does have the ability to have very powerful words, right? Because Pluto is very powerful. So as they age and they heal some of this, their ability to have very powerful written word or verbal communication, something that really speaks to others, that others can feel and that they feel moved by and changed. Motivational speaking, but at a deeper or broader level. So I hope that answers some questions about the third house. If you have some planets there, take a look and keep watching the videos. We're going to slowly make our way around this wheel, and I'll be back with the fourth house soon. Thank you very much. This is Little Wave at Your Stars Within.